Oh man, I just I need like a Alcoholics Anonymous class for buying movies. I need a Movieholics Anonymous class. I'm buying too many movies, Andrew.
I feel you. I don't have that same problem this time of year, because I just had my super blow up with Criterion sale in November, December stuff. It's more like pick and choose time for me.
Yeah.
But for you, I understand. You just can't stop. Just can't fight the feeling.
Doing it, man.
REO Speedwagons just can't fight the feeling.
Well, I just like all the I'm kind of a box set whore. Like I love a good box set.
That's a harsh term to call yourself.
Whatever, I'm a whore. I love a good box set, and I like them thick, and I like good bricks.
Oh boy, here we go.
I know. I'm sorry, it's getting a little gross, but
getting a little too descriptive.
Yeah,
too specific.
But like they keep coming out with these fantastic box sets. You got like the Jodorowsky set coming from Arrow. Arrow's got all these great sets coming out. The Elephant Man. We talked about that the other day offline. We've been waiting for a release of that, and finally, who's putting it out? Is that
that's Arrow?
Is that Arrow? Yeah, that was Arrow.
Yeah, but it's coming out in the UK and not coming out here in their branch, because I don't even know who has the rights to it here in the States anymore. I kind of assumed for years it was Criterion, but I don't even know anymore. I know it's a Paramount movie, and Paramount, when it comes to their back catalog right now, is like, I don't even know what they're releasing. And if they are releasing anything, it's from like third party not third party, but like, boutique labels that buy up the licensing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, I guess it's a great segue. And Steven kind of set this up for me, so I guess I'll take it.
I wasn't on purpose, but go ahead.
It wasn't on purpose, but literally just before we got on here to talk about our topic, record a new podcast episode, Shout Factory announced that they are releasing a UHD 4K edition of Michael Cimino's Dare Hunter, which is a movie that I think I talked about last week when I talked about Universal back catalogs that need to be re-released. And lo and behold, I guess somebody heard me out there somewhere, or they just, had this in the works for a while. What is interesting is that it's their first 4K release when it comes to theatrical films. I think they said that they had put out some IMAX stuff in 4K before, but that's more kind of like visual exhibition versus, narrative features.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no details on it right now, other than that it's coming out May 22nd, I believe. They haven't announced extras, and they haven't announced whether it's a 4K remaster or anything like that. I assume it's going to be. It has to be. I mean, there would be no point of using the old master and putting it on 4K. It would be a waste of money and a waste of time for everybody, including the company and the consumers.
Wonder how much that's going to cost. I bet you it's going to be $50.
No, what's crazy is that their pre-order, which is set up right now on their website, is, I think, the $28.99.
What?
Yeah, because I mean, Shout Factory is typically,
it's expensive.
Their stuff's slightly more expensive than I think it should be. Even their Scream Factory stuff, but for the most part, they're delivering movies that we can't get on Blu-ray elsewhere typically, or they're usually re-releases of like older Blu-ray editions with new extras and new things like that, and new picture quality, audio quality, stuff like that. But yeah, it's $28.43, US dollars on their website pre-order, and you get they always have like an 18x24 rolled poster of their new cover art, because they always get like brand new cover art, but they also typically always have reversible cover art, where it's like the new stuff on one side and the original poster art on the other. I know they've done that for their Scream Factory releases. I only have a couple of their Shout Select releases, and I kind of want more, but their price point never moves.
Yeah.
It's never below $20 for most of their Shout Select stuff. But it's stuff that I really want to get my hands on.
Yeah.
Things like Midnight Run and movies like that. Midnight Run, like Escape from LA, is getting a release. My Bloody Valentine, I think, is getting a Scream Factory release. But they've got a bunch of stuff, and the Shout Select is kind of like Shout Factory's collector's edition imprint.
Yeah.
Because
it's kind of like Arrow Academy for Arrow Video.
Kind of. I would say
it's their more they're more substantial movies. They're not culty necessarily. They're more
like the Scream Factory is more horror and cult movies, and Shout Select is kind of a more wide open variety. But you get the same like collected edition, branding or quality, if you will. And and when it comes to visual and audio quality, Shout Factory seems to fluctuate, but it seems to be mostly on the good side for the most part. They don't really wow you with a lot of their re-releases or their releases, and it's so you get what you pay for the most part. But what I really want is like the extras that they put in that you didn't get before. Like these are brand new extras for the most part. New interviews, new commentaries with people who are still around with us. So I'm all happy for the Dare Hunter, because I think the Dare Hunter is an amazing film it's a Best Picture winner. Coincidentally, it's because we'll be talking about the Academy Awards that is coming up this Sunday, and it's very interesting how that kind of all coinciding with one another. It's like Steven set me up for this, which also sets us up for our main topic.
Let me
put it this way: we don't plan this. So this just kind of happens organically.
We're just that damn good.
We're just that damn good, apparently.
And as he's talking about our main topic this week, we got this coming Sunday. We have the Academy Awards. Which number are we? How many years is it? 90?
This is
in the 90s.
92nd. 92nd.
We're getting close to that 100, man. Are we gonna make it? Are we gonna make it? Or are they gonna shut down the Oscars before 100?
I don't think they're not gonna shut it down, because it's probably so much.
It's funded
money
by the people that make
it.
movies.
Yeah, it's probably so much money put into it that they couldn't shut this down if they tried.
Yeah, I know, right? But so what we're gonna do this week is we're gonna kind of give our what we think's gonna win and what we think should win. This year's, I don't know that this year's.
I don't think there's a lot of debate going on right now.
I think it's pretty predictable year, unfortunately. A lot of good movies this year, I think, but based off of what was nominated, it feels like only a handful of movies got nominated in everything. There wasn't as much of variety as there was actually variety in the year.
And as usual, there's all kind of cultural issues with the Academy Awards when it comes to, not exclusion, but like, not a lot of minorities or people of color being nominated, women not being nominated. Yeah. A lot of just kind of familiar faces. A lot of familiar faces here. A lot of the old guard.
Well, I
once again back.
Of what makes this year Academy Awards is always going to feel predictable because they only go after certain movies.
Oh, there's a niche area that they keep going back to over and over again.
Yeah. It's either movies, about making movies, or biopics.
Dramas. And they're almost always dramas.
Yeah. So we're never going to, there's been rare occurrences. I think Shape of Water was an interesting year where we got a movie that was kind of out there that won Best Picture.
A movie that was like a gothic romance horror.
Yeah.
For the most part. It was a take on The Creature of the Black Lagoon, but it's also like a 1950s Douglas Sirk melodrama romance.
Yeah.
So it was a combination of multiple genres. But with this year, there's a sense of predictability, like Stephen was saying.
It feels like certain movies are cleaning up everywhere.
Yes.
And certain actors are cleaning up every award show. So it's like, well, if they're cleaning up every award show, it's pretty much a lock for these people. It
really is. Is there a specific area that you wanted to start with?
I don't know. Obviously, we're not going to go over every category.
We're
going to go over all the main stuff. The actors, some of the technical stuff like cinematography, sound editing. We'll do some of that. But and then of course Best Picture. Let's start from the kind of the lesser and build up to Best Picture.
Okay.
You choose where to start.
Oh, damn you. That's kind of why I handed it to you.
Oh, okay. Well, let's start with...
I'm looking at... You know what? Let's start with one of my favorite categories. Let's go with Best Editing.
Okay.
Just because I remember last year, I went on a bit of a rant about the editing and who ended up winning, because it was Bohemian Rhapsody that ended up winning. Remember that?
It's one of the worst.
And it was like, the movie's not edited well.
No.
It's like, it's a that movie had production issues and all that stuff. I went into all of that last year when we did our pre-show and then our post like just commenting on all the winners and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm still baffled that that movie won for best editing. I don't know what was going on, but this year's editing is looking good. Let me read these down. So basically, first one here is Andrew Buckland and Michael McCusker for Ford v Ferrari, Jimo Yang for Parasite, Tom Eagles for Jojo Rabbit, Jeff Groth for Joker, Thelma Shoemaker for The Irishman. Now, Thelma Shoemaker for me is one of the best editors ever, and she's probably the best living editor, in my opinion. And she had to put together a gigantic film this time.
Well, I can tell you right now, I'm not picking her because the movie's way too fucking long.
That is also the thing. It's like, she does have a long movie. I mean, I can only imagine how much, if she had to get it down to 3.5 hours, I can only imagine how much footage she had to work with.
Yeah, I know. Okay, let's start with who he think's gonna win. Who he think's gonna win this? I'm thinking it's gonna be The Irishman.
Really?
I do.
I mean, that could be because she's like a legacy pick. Not even a legacy pick. Not a legacy pick, but she's the most well-known and probably well-respected out of this group just because of her career and whatnot. I'll tell you this, Ford v Ferrari is amazingly well-edited.
Well, I'm with you because that's what I want. That's who I think should win.
I mean, the Parasite we already know is an amazing film.
Yes.
And that could definitely win.
I like all the movies in this category.
I like all the movies. Joker for me is interesting because Joker for me, it's not a film where I'm like, oh, this editing is so amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that film has so many other positive things that very much overshadow the editing.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like I would say the acting and the direction is probably better, probably more positive, and more of a bigger positive. I would say Ford v Ferrari just got me. Granted, I would say I haven't. My biggest issue with that movie is like the last 15 minutes or so, 15-20 minutes. I think drags, but I think it's part of the story that they had to tell no matter what. Because once they got past like their climactic, plot point, third act plot point, they had to land the film somehow.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You got to land this. You got to land it somehow. But the car racing sequences and all that kind of stuff is amazing.
It's amazing.
Like, just absolutely fantastic. But I wouldn't be surprised if Parasite wins, because Parasite right now is a big, critic darling. And I think and you gotta, when you're making guesses like this, you really gotta kind of put yourself in the mindset of the Academy members, and that can go in all different directions. Because
that's why I'm picking The Irishman.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, I don't want to go off book here, but Edgar Wright, because today is coincidentally the last day for voting as well. It's Tuesday, February 4th, and it's the last day that people have to get their votes in for the Academy, for this award ceremony that's happening Sunday. And Edgar Wright basically said that he was glad that he was able to watch all of the nominees this year. I think he makes it a point to watch all of the nominees. Yeah. And I know for a fact that not every voter does that. Nope. And they just kind of pick stuff without actually watching all of the nominees in specific categories. So you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, I guess, about when it comes to winners and stuff like that. And I do want to mention, while we're on the topic, that the Academy Awards are not the end all be all of movies. They're not everything. I know a lot of people love them. A lot of people really get invested in them and really take them seriously. But for me, they're more of a curiosity. I'm just more interested to see how they're going to go. Who's going to win what's nominated. And it's oh, that's interesting. Oh, maybe, why is that movie nominated and not that one? I like having those types of discussions. Yeah. When it comes to judging the overall quality of the movie world, it doesn't really, I think, have a big impact. I don't know how you feel, Steven.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's nice to create, like you said, nice to create conversation, but it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah. All right. So next category then.
I'll pick one. Let's talk about visual effects.
Ooh. Okay. Let me.
This one's interesting because this is where typically, and these are our nominees: Avengers: Endgame, The Irishman, The Lion King, 1917, and Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. So a lot of times this is where the big mainstream movie gets its chance to get an
Shine.
award. The thing is there's like 3 of them.
Oh,
and then,
yeah.
And then you have the movie that probably should win, which is 1917. Because, when we think about this category, I think we should be thinking about how seamless the effects are.
Right.
And I think the effects in 1917 are seamless. And, though you can make an argument for how, impressive The Lion King looked.
Except the animals, like, they look like animals.
Yeah,
I mean, if that was what their goal was to go for, they look like animals.
I guess, but I guess because I don't really like that movie, I don't want to award it anything. But and I definitely ain't giving it to The Irishman. I can tell you that.
The de-aging is impressive, but we've talked about how like some parts are better than others when it comes to the de-aging. I think it got it maybe for ambition's sake. You know what I mean?
It's definitely ambitious, but
like, they tried to de-age, these 70-year-old men, back down forever. You know what I mean? And tried to make it, and it worked for the most part. But then, in other parts, it didn't really work. So it is what it is, I guess. Avengers Endgame, if you're going to give it to one, maybe Avengers Endgame. I mean, but there's a lot of those movies. I like the MCU, but they're heavy CGI, and their CGI is not obvious, but I mean, these movies are made pretty much on green screens.
It might as well be an animated movie.
I mean, that last battle sequence in the film is amazing and stunning and everything. But it's a CGI fest if you want to like really like take a gander at it. For 1917, like you said, I think is the most seamless. Like, watching that movie, I felt like I was in there.
That's how I feel it should be judged. When you're talking about visual effects, I think didn't Blade Runner win last year?
No.
Or did it not?
I don't think Blade Runner came out last year.
Or was it 2 years ago? Whatever.
Oh man, I'm gonna go back and take a look.
Because Blade Runner 2049 is another example of really great visual effects where it's pretty seamless. I think it did win. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. But,
hold on. The winner last year was First Man.
Was it the same? That wasn't last year. Wasn't when Blade Runner came out?
No. Blade Runner came out like the year before last. Yeah. Last year the nominees were First Man, Infinity War, Ready Player One, Christopher Robin, your favorite movie, and Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Well, right there though, First Man winning is another example.
That last sequence in First Man is amazing.
Yeah, it's a very
you feel like you're on the damn moon.
Done visual effects movie. It's not about being showy and creating large worlds with visual effects. It's about making it seem as real as possible. And that's what makes good visual effects. It's not about filling the screen with visual effects. So that, to me, I think it should be 1917 that wins. Who do I think's gonna win?
If they wanted to give Endgame an award, this is the one they'd give it. I think this is the one they'd give it for. Yeah, I'd have to look what other categories it's nominated in, but this seems like one it could win.
Yeah, I think it's 1917 should win, and I think it will win.
Got it.
Yeah. All right, so where do you want to go next?
Let's see. Let's go Best Original Score.
Okay.
Because it's a bit of a heavy hitter category here. Very heavy hitters. Like, all these people could win.
Okay.
First in 1917, Thomas Newman. Little Women, Alexander Desplat. Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, John Williams, no shocker there.
Yeah.
Joker, Hildur Guanadatur. I always probably destroy that name. And then Marriage Story, Randy Newman. These are all amazing scores, and I know the one for Joker has been winning a lot.
Yeah.
And I would say that's probably what's going to win.
It's probably going to win,
I don't think that train is stopping now.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised about John Williams, though, because I think this is his last Star Wars score. And it's, yet again, the Academy loves to give like a Lifetime Achievement Award that aren't Lifetime Achievement
Awards. He doesn't need
a
Lifetime Achievement Award. He
won. He really doesn't. He's John Williams.
Won multiple times. He's been nominated like 50 times or something.
Yeah, Alexander Desplat has won quite a few times.
Yeah. I was going to say the only other score that I think might compete with it is Little Women. It was pretty good score. I think that 1917 kind of reminds me a little bit of Dunkirk's score. That kind of, so I don't know if that one has a chance. Honestly, I can't recall how the Marriage Story score was. I was so engaged with the
I remember hearing
with the
Randy
wordplay
Newman
in that movie.
I remember distinctly hearing Randy Newman, like while I was like watching the movie.
Yeah,
that's what stuck out to me. I would say Joker all day. That score was hypnotic for me personally. I know a lot of people don't like the movie or whatever, but I think that the score is amazing.
Yeah.
So moving on, that was an easy category.
Yeah. How about we do our writing categories?
Oh, the good ones.
The good ones. Let's start with adapted.
Adapted.
We have screenplay by Steve Zalian for The Irishman. We have Taika Waititi. I got it, man. I got it.
Nice.
Jojo Rabbit. Todd Phillips and somebody else. I can't see his name for Joker. Little Women. Greta Gerwig, I'm assuming. And The Two Popes, written by Anthony McCartan.
Yep. Jojo Rabbit has been winning the awards recently.
Really?
Have you been? I don't know if you've.
I haven't been keeping up with the other ones.
It won the BAFTA award for Best Adapted Screenplay the other night, and it won the WGA award, the Writers Guild Award for Best Adapted Screenplay. Which kind of baffles me. Not baffles me, but I'm kind of a little bit surprised.
Well,
because it's a good screenplay, but it didn't scream like best screenplay to me.
Well, it doesn't scream best screenplay. I think that he did toe this line where, satirical comedies about, the Holocaust basically is not. It's a hard thing to do. To talk about Hitler and make you laugh is tough. So I think that. But that's not just the writing. That's a lot of different things. But to me, if I'm choosing the one I think should win, I think Little Women should win. Now,
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, I think the thing that's going against it is the fact that it's been adapted multiple times already.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I really like about the Little Women screenplay is how it's a period piece taking place, during the 1860s. But it felt like it felt very contemporary with the way it was approached. You know what I mean? Like it felt like a contemporary film in many of its aspects, and I really think that Greta Gerwig was able to translate that very, very well. Now, granted, she was translating a very well-known literary work, so a lot of that was done for her. But I think adapting it from one medium to another and to making it, come across well is a very difficult thing to do. Yeah. It's very difficult.
Well, I think the thing is she didn't just fall back on what the previous adaptations had done. She did something and she refreshed it, kind of told the film out of order, where you had to be more engaged with the film. And then also, I think, fleshed out some of the characters more than previous adaptations have. So... I think that is worth rewarding her for. Plus, look, you're not giving women a lot of options this year.
I know. She probably should have been nominated for Best Director.
Oh, she should have been nominated for Best Director.
You could have. Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you're gonna give the movie an award, I would like to see this one.
Yeah.
The other ones, Jojo Rabbit could win because it's getting that hot streak right now. I don't see The Irishman or Joker. Joker would be shocking to me.
Yeah, it would be shocking.
It would really be shocking. Two Popes, honestly, wouldn't be shocking to me. And I think the best part about that movie is its screenplay, is its dialogue. And maybe the acting from the dialogue.
Yeah.
With Jonathan Pryce and Anthony Hopkins. But it was a movie that I thought was good. It was good, not great. Yeah. I'm kind of surprised all of the award nominations that it got.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we're kind of both on the same page. We probably think that JoJo probably will win, but we hope Little Women does win.
Yeah, so let's just go straight to Best Original.
Yeah.
Best Original Screenplay, 1917. You have by Sam Mendes, Christy Wilson Cairns. Yeah, Cairns. Marriage Story is Noah Baumbach. Parasite is Bong Joon-ho and Jin-Won Han. Knives Out, Ryan Johnson. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah. I think, and this is how I feel about the movie that wins Best Picture, I think should usually have this category locked too.
Should. Should is the important word in what you just said.
Should. And I think that Parasite should win this. But, I mean, honestly, if there was another movie that I think deserves to win this, I think Marriage Story would be great. Because we both agree that it had one of the tightest screenplays of the year.
Yeah, it had a fantastic screenplay. Like, when I was watching Marriage Story for the first time, I'm like, damn, this is a good screenplay. Damn, this is a good screenplay. Yeah. It's one of the best screenplays I've seen this year. 1917 is interesting to me because it goes to show that not everything when it comes to a screenplay is dialogue.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of dialogue in the movie. It's mostly, just action, what's happening on screen, like characters moving from place to place, stuff like that. Tarantino always has great screenplays. That's kind of what he's known for, and he's won several times in the past for it. And Knives Out, I think, is a great screenplay too.
Yeah.
Like a great screenplay. But like Steven said, I really want Parasite to win this. Yeah. But the Academy in recent years likes to divvy up their awards. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
not based off of actually
here.
which should win. It's about how to spread the love.
Yeah, it's about how to spread the love now. And it's like, because I don't think you're going to see a movie win, 10, 11 awards again or anything like that. Like, the most some win now is maybe 5 or 6, and that's because they collect a bunch of the tech awards. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. I remember, Mad Max Fury Road won a bunch of awards, but it won all the tech awards basically.
Yeah.
It didn't win like Best Picture or anything like that. But that's why I can almost see them give Best Picture to another film and give this award to another film. I want to go back last year to see how they did it, just because that would it kind of gives us a little bit of an indication about like maybe where they would go this year. Yeah, last year they did the exact opposite of what we are just saying now. So little do we know. Best Original Screenplay last year was for Green Book, which
Jesus Christ.
Every other screenplay in this, maybe except for Vice, is better than it, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, and they gave Best Adapted to Black Klansman. So they, if what you said initially is true, Parasite could win this and the Academy Award, or it could be the opposite. It could be the one that wins Adapted Screenplay could win Best Picture, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Unless they do give 1917 the Best Original Screenplay.
I swear to God.
And they give it Best Picture too. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna roll like that.
Well, the thing is, we haven't gotten to it yet. I mean, but I don't think we're gonna. I don't know if we're gonna talk about the international film because I don't know if we've seen all them movies.
Best foreign film,
or they call it international film now. It's not called foreign film. They call it international.
They changed that?
Yeah, they changed the title of that. It's international feature film.
I have only seen 2 of them, and I think you've only seen.
I've only seen 2 of them.
So, but just wrapping up original, what did we just say? Did we say?
I think this should go to Parasite, and
yes.
I think it will go to Parasite.
I'm
gonna be confident, and I'm gonna say that it's gonna win it. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't be surprised about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah,
because Tarantino's an award season.
Well, if you're talking about divvying it out, we're pretty sure there's somebody that's going to get an Academy Award from that movie. So that's why I feel.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I'm confident that Parasite will get this. It should get this.
I feel you. I mean, the dark horse for it, I think, is Knives Out.
I think the dark horse is Marriage Story.
Oh,
I think Marriage Story is the other one that. And then there's always, like you said, the possibility of 1917, which would upset me. But
it'd be like, oh, so you're just tipping your hand now or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but Best International, if you want to talk about right now, we've only seen 2 of the movies.
Yeah, we really
it's going to be
can't
Parasite.
educate. All I'd say. This was what I was going to say was, sometimes when the movie that's also nominated for Best Picture gets the international Best Picture, it kind of makes you think, hey, it might not win Best Picture. Like Parasite's in this category, of course. So, do you think if Parasite wins this category, that it's not going to win Best Picture?
Yes, because they did it with Roma last year.
Yeah.
Roma was the heavy favorite to win Best Picture, and it won Best International Feature, Best Foreign Language Feature at the time, and then it didn't win Best Picture. They gave it to Green Book. So I guess this will kind of maybe indicate, what Best Picture will be.
I think it basically, yeah. I mean, I agree with you. That's usually how it goes. It will upset me if look, I love 1917. It seems to be these 2 movies that are kind of the two. Excuse me. But
I love. I mean, we're going to talk about it when we get to Best Picture. But I understand exactly where you're going. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no,
just because
good.
I want you to save it for when we talk about Best Picture.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The only other we've both seen Pain and Glory.
We've both seen Pain and Glory, which is Pedro.
Good. I've heard Les Miserables is really good. Also, I haven't seen Honeyland. I haven't seen the other Corpus
Christi. I haven't seen that either. Honeyland, I've been wanting to watch.
I'll tell you this: if I haven't seen the other ones, like I said, but if Portrait of a Lady on Fire was in this list, it would be the winner.
Yeah, for some reason I heard that it wasn't eligible.
Well, it wasn't. No, it was eligible, but France chose Les Miserables.
Oh, of
instead.
Course they did.
They thought it was the more topical movie.
Well, of course
that's
they
the
did.
one that they choose to submit. Yeah.
Well, yeah, when we say Les Miserables, it's not the
it's not the classic version
Victor
we saw Tom Hooper make.
It's not the Victor Hugo story. It's more modern day topical.
It's an updated version of that story in a ghetto-ish, in like a French ghetto and stuff like that. Like I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, I really want to see it.
But
I would really love to see it.
Let's move on. Let's talk about production design.
Ooh.
We got The Irishman, Bob Shaw, and some others. Jojo Rabbit. I'm not going to say the names. I'm sorry. It's too many names. 1917, Parasite, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think.
I think that this is another one for Once. Once Upon. I would agree. I think that there is a possibility that Irishman could win this.
Really? I guess so. It does. It is a period piece, but like it's mostly like inside places. I think. Like I don't know. I felt like
I guess I just have this cynical view that because I feel like because I didn't like this movie as much as everybody else did, that it's going to take awards.
That other films that
I think deserve it should take because look, I love Scorsese, but I think this is one of his middle movies for me, and I think that sometimes guys that have legacy they get a little it's like a Streep situation here, where Streep gets nominated for like the fucking what was the movie she got nominated for, the Into the Woods, like stuff like that. Like it's like come on, like stop just giving it to people just because they have a name like so
I understand exactly what you're talking about.
But I'm with you. I think Once Upon a Time should win.
Yeah, I feel. I mean, the movie transported you back to 1969 Hollywood. That was its goal. That was its purpose.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Tarantino set out to do. And to do that, you had to essentially reconstruct a version of that time or reconstruct that time specifically. And I think it did an amazing job of doing that. Like he really wanted you to be in there. And I think the movie actually, wow. I'm just looking at Meryl Streep again. Because I wanted to see what movie you were talking about. She did get nominated for Into the Woods.
Well, and
she got nominated for Florence Foster Jenkins.
Yeah, well, that was a surprise. Didn't she get nominated for the one where she played like the guitarist or something? No. Okay.
No, she got nominated for The Iron Lady when she won. Julia and Julia, Doubt. Devil Wears Prada.
Oh yeah, she
adaptation.
deserves a lot of
these. Are amazing. These are great movies, but I mean, Into the Woods and Florence Foster Jenkins are kind of questionable for me. Those seem like legacy picks, but that's a story for a different time. But production design, I think that's what should win.
One. Yeah.
That should win. 1917. Don't be surprised if that wins. I'll say it again. Just because talk about being transported into a place and time. You felt like you were in that battle zone with all of the set design and stuff like that.
They built it. They dug out them trenches.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, the trench warfare and the no man's land stuff and all that kind of stuff. And it really, the production design and cinematography kind of go hand in hand.
I'll tell you one movie I feel like probably should have been in here that maybe could have taken the place of maybe Jojo Rabbit is Little Women.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, Women.
I think Little Women
great
should have been
period
in this.
piece. Yeah, great period piece. Jojo Rabbit, also a period piece, but it felt very like you were in one place the whole time in Jojo Rabbit. Where Little Women, you were in different locations in different times, so different sets, places, different sets and places, and so I felt it was more nuanced than Jojo Rabbit. But do you want to move on to best cinematography since we're talking production design?
Let's do it.
Because this is another one that I think is easy. I mean, Roger Deakins for 1917, Robert Richardson for Once Upon a Time, Jarin, Blaschke?
Blaschke.
Lawrence Sher for Joker, and Rodrigo Prieto for The Irishman. Let's not mess around here, Steven. It's Roger Deakins.
Well, it's Roger Deakins that's going to win this.
Yes.
Now, in my heart, you know who I want to win this.
For The Lighthouse.
Yes,
that's what I want. That's what I
want too.
Because it's the only movie I think it's the only category I think this movie's nominated for.
Well, I tell you what. Last year, I was so surprised when Cold War won.
Yes.
Now again this year we have another black and white movie in this category, and it makes me feel like a little bit of a tingle that I'm like, you think that maybe there's a chance that it could win?
You know what? I would love it. Oh my goodness, I would love it just because the cinematography in that movie is amazing.
It's amazing. Now I know some people said I know our friend Dan, when he first saw this movie, he told me, well, first of all, he didn't like the movie.
Yeah.
But he said he also, when he watched it, that it was just too dark. And I said, well, maybe it's just the screening you were in, because when I saw it,
it's a dark movie.
It's a dark movie, but he was like, he couldn't see anything. Like I was
think
like,
that was part of like the atmosphere where like you couldn't tell what the hell was going on because you're just going crazy. These characters are just going crazy. But I love the use of the aspect ratio, which made the film even more like claustrophobic.
Yeah,
you felt like you were suffocating while you were watching this movie.
And it also looks like a picture frame, like a painting on the wall.
It really does.
Yeah,
a messed up painting. But Deakins, I mean, we talk about how the movie was all like made to look like it was done in one shot, and it looked amazing while I was watching that being depicted. I was shocked by how seamless it looked. Now, granted, a few times. I mean, if you're looking for it, and a lot of people can tell where the different edits were, where the cuts were. If typically when it comes to one takes like that, if there's an extreme close up of a specific area, that's when there's an edit.
Yeah,
and you won't really notice it.
That or there's a split second of darkness.
Yes, something like that.
There was a couple times where they went through a tunnel, and then it got dark. And then, and that's a time to do a cut. But
I know another film that did this was Birdman.
Birdman did it.
Emmanuel Lubezki,
yeah,
who just kept winning every single year, like for like several years in a row.
Yeah. They also kind of do it in the last end of Children of Men. Also,
yes.
Also Lubezki.
Lubezki, yeah.
I think. It seems like a pretty solid. I think Roger Deakins. What's crazy is it took him so long to win his first one, and now it seems like he's never gonna lose. He's gonna always win now. But honestly, who I want to win, it's Jarin Blaschke.
Blaschke. I guess that's how you say it.
I think he needs to win this award. I love Deakins, but But he'll probably win. Deakins will probably win.
Okay.
All right.
Let's
Where you want to move to?
Let me see. What are we looking at for time?
Let's look at animated feature.
Okay. Yeah, we got time.
Let's get it out of there.
I was checking. Let's see. Animated feature this year is kind of a surprising category.
I haven't seen all of these. I've seen.
I don't think I've seen.
I've seen three of them.
I've seen two.
I've seen three of them. I've heard, and one of the ones haven't seen, apparently is potentially a winner, which is the Klaus movie.
Yeah, I keep hearing great things about Klaus.
Yes.
I almost watched it the other night. I believe it's a Netflix film.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, I've heard great things about it. The only ones I have seen are How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, and Toy Story 4.
See, I've seen Missing Link.
Have you seen Missing Link?
Yeah,
How is it? Because remember, it won the Golden Globe, and then it won another award someplace.
I like it. It's Leica's movie this year.
I like Leica.
Yes, you do. You said it twice, man. I heard you. Yeah, I mean, I really liked it. Some people thought it was kind of boring. I enjoyed it. I think that their animation's impressive, also, of course. And I mean, I think How You Train Your Dragon was okay. Toy Story 4 I really liked. I think that, to me, the two, it's between Missing Link and Klaus. I haven't seen Lost My Body, but I've heard some reviews on it, and they liked it, but they didn't like everything about it. So right. I think it's between them two. If I'm choosing who I think's going to win, I think it's going to be Klaus. Because I think it's winning a lot of awards from what I hear.
Don't doubt the mouse.
Well, yeah, sure.
Toy Story 4 is the obvious pick. I would say.
I don't think it is
because it's got the name, the mouse behind it. But I would like to see Klaus just to change stuff up. What's crazy is that I'm probably gonna end up watching this movie either tonight or tomorrow and be like, yeah, that's probably the one I should have picked. But I can't go back in time.
No.
I haven't created the flux capacitor yet. Working on it.
Work on it, man.
Working on it. Where do you want to move to next?
How about let's go ahead and get into the big guns. Let's start.
Okay, you don't want to talk about sound mixing or sound editing?
I don't need to. We don't have to get that crazy. Let's.
Right.
We could, but I don't know. I think we know them. A couple of them are kind of like pretty easy ones.
We might as well get into the big ones because there's what's there 5 or 6 categories we'd have to go through right now. That'd be good.
Let's talk about best supporting actress.
Okay.
We got
good to me.
Yeah, Kathy Bates for Richard Jewell. We have Laura Dern for Marriage Story. We have Scarlett Johansson in Jojo Rabbit. We have Florence Pugh in Little Women and Margaret Robbie in Bombshell.
The one who keeps winning all the awards is Laura Dern, and I don't see it stopping now.
Yeah, I think it's pretty lock. I think I actually agree. She should win because
I think it's a lock.
She's pretty awesome in the movie. I think the only other person that has a chance would be Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. She's really good in that movie. She's kind of she's a very important part of that movie. She gives that movie the humanity that Nazism lacks.
Yeah.
That Nazi Germany lacked. And just did not, neo-Nazi and Nazi ideology lacks. And she injected a lot of humanity into that film, and it was really important for that whole film. And she's fantastic in it.
Yeah.
I really like Florence Pugh in Little Women. And I think Margot Robbie is really, really good in Bombshell. She has one scene specifically, 1 or 2 scenes that I think really what got her the nomination, and she's really, really good in a much smaller role than I think any of these other roles are. I didn't see Richard Jewell, so I can't comment on Kathy Bates, but she's a legend at this point. Laura Dern's a lock.
I think it's pretty,
at this point.
Yeah, she's one of I think one of the best actresses in working. I don't think Laura Dern gets enough credit.
I still think she's been working for over 30 years. I still think she's underrated.
I don't know if it's on purpose or what, but she's been in big movies. She's in Jurassic Park. She's
in Jurassic Park. I mean, that's where I first saw her when I was a little kid at Jurassic Park. But she's been in a bunch of stuff. watch her stuff. She's a great actress.
She's been done a lot of great indie stuff. I mean,
she's done a
Certain
lot
Women.
in
I don't know if you've seen Certain Women.
I have not seen Certain Women.
Yeah, it's really good. She was in that. What was the movie? I love that movie. What's one with Michael Shannon, Andrew Garfield with
oh my
Homes.
goodness, I know the movie you're talking
Homes.
about.
99 Homes.
99 Homes, yes.
She was the mom in that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, she's been nominated for 3 Oscars in her career. Rambling Rose, Wild, that movie Wild, and Marriage Story. But she's been nominated for a lot of Golden Globes.
Yeah. She's always very solid. Yeah.
Yeah, she was. Yeah,
she's also in Little Women.
Yes, she is. She actually could have been nominated for Little Women, and it would have. She probably would have won the award as well. Yeah. She probably would have won it as well. She's really good in that film. Coincidentally, she was in that film, which was directed by Greta Gerwig, and she was in Marriage Story, directed by Noah Baumbach, and Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig are a couple. Yeah. I think they're married.
Yeah, they're married.
Yes? Yeah, they're married. So it's like she was like, I guess, went from one set to the other.
Yeah.
She must be like great friends with them and whatnot. I know she's great friends with David Lynch as well.
Well,
because she was in.
I don't know if anybody knows this, but I met Laura Dern.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I did. I met her for a second when I went to the festival.
Oh yes, I remember.
Yeah, when I went to
Telluride.
Yeah, I went to Telluride last year. She had a movie which I think it finally released at some point this year, but I guess it wasn't that great. I don't know. It was the fire, something called The Fire. It was like a courtroom drama.
Okay.
It had Josh, what's his name? The guy from the Angelina Jolie movie, the war movie, where it had the what is it called? It's killing me. Give me a second.
Hold on. Is the movie called Trial by Fire?
No. Oh, Trial by Fire. That's it. That is it. She was in Trial by Fire.
Jack O'Connell.
Jack O'Connell. That's it.
Jack O'Connell is an amazing young actor that
I don't know what's going on with his career. He needs to do more. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why he hasn't blown up yet because he's an amazing actor.
But yeah, I met her. She was coming out of her hotel. There's in the middle of Telluride. There's this hotel where a lot of the stars stay, and there's a restaurant downstairs. And I was eating down there, and she came in as I was ordering, and I was like kind of like starstruck. And then I was like, God, I missed my chance. I could have said, hey, God damn it. And then I was eating, and I was finishing up eating, and I saw her, and she had her children with her, and I was able to walk up to her and shake her hand and say, hey, and thank you for her, and thanked her for her work and everything like that.
Nice.
And so yeah, it's the one star I met.
Hey, that's a pretty big star.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. Yeah, she was in, like I said, she and David Lynch are really good friends. She was in the new Twin Peaks season/series, Twin Peaks: The Return. Played a big role in that. She was also in Blue Velvet way back in the late 80s, which is another David Lynch film. She was also in Wild at Heart, another David Lynch film with your favorite Nicolas Cage. Wild at Heart is a great film. Yeah, so she's a great actress, and she's got this lockdown.
I think she does.
Cold,
awesome. It'll be her first one. That'll be great.
Yes, it was. So let's move on to Best Supporting Actor, which is Al Pacino for The Irishman, Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tom Hanks, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Anthony Hopkins for The Two Popes, and Joe Pesci coming out of retirement. Pretty much retirement.
All we need now is Rick Moranis, who is apparently possibly coming back for Honey, I Shrunk Your Kids, to come back and then get an Oscar nomination.
Yeah, that'd be dope for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That'd be amazing.
For Shrunk, whatever it's called.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's what the new movie's going to be called, Shrunk. With Josh Gad playing his son.
Oh, okay, let's move on to what we were just talking about. Because you're going down a road I cannot not want to follow right now. Brad Pitt has been winning every single award for this.
I was going to say, this is pretty much Brad Pitt.
This is locked too.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about.
I mean,
a lot of these are locked.
Things get real predictable. Like, they're not going to be shaking this stuff up at all.
No.
I mean, Al Pacino and Joe Pesci are great. Anthony Hopkins has always been great for the most part, except, he was in Transformers the last night.
Well, I was going to say, mostly for him, it's about picking good movies to be in. He's picking a lot of stupid movies.
Nowadays, at this point, he's got nothing left to prove.
He didn't need to do it.
Nothing.
He's done it, man.
I mean, he's in that show Westworld on HBO, and he's amazing in that. Tom Hanks is a legend.
Yeah,
I mean, this
he's
is
already
a
won.
legend.
He's already won.
This is a legendary category here.
Yeah. And I think Brad Pitt, once again, it's somebody that hasn't won yet. And I think he'll finally win.
No, he has not won.
Well, he didn't. Well, he technically has won an Oscar. He won for 12 Years a Slave.
He was a producer.
Yes.
He's a producer on a lot of films. Yeah, he's been nominated a bunch of times. He was a nominee for The Big Short. He was a producer on that.
He was nominated for Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
He was a nominee for Moneyball for both a producer and actor. Curious Case of Benjamin Button, like you said, and 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, he
was nominated as well with the Terry Gilliam film. It's a lock, I think, for him. Yeah. So I don't think that even if it was somebody I wanted to win, I mean,
honestly,
Al Pacino would be cool.
I was gonna say the only other person for me would probably be Al Pacino. I never saw A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
I did not get to see it either, and I kind of hate myself for not seeing it. Just because I like the Mr. Rogers documentary from last year.
But I really think it's time Brad Pitt wins because he's one of the he's an actor that I think gets kind of smothered by the fact that he's good looking, but he is really a good actor.
Right.
And
and a lot of people are criticizing his performance, saying, "Oh, it's just Brad Pitt being Brad Pitt in the film," and I'm like,
it's a lot more nuanced.
That's not how acting really is. It's just like there's always like not revisionist history or revisionist look, but like for some reason, like the closer these awards get or the award season hits, people always end up like there's a lot of pushback on a lot of the movies. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden people hate Jojo Rabbit. Yeah. All of a sudden, 1917 is a gimmick movie.
Yeah.
So therefore it's not a good movie. But I'm like, there's more to that movie than just the one take gimmick. Look at that production design. Look at that lighting. Look at the acting. Look at more stuff. There's more stuff in films than just one negative that discounts the whole film. Yeah. You really gotta look at the whole puzzle piece and then make a decision about what is good and what's not. But that being said, let's move on to what do you want to move on to?
Leading actress?
Leading actress? Yeah, that's the next one on my... I'm looking at IMDb right now. It's the next one here. You want to read them off?
We got Cynthia
Erivo
for Harriet, Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story, Saoirse Ronan for Little Women, Charlize Theron for Bombshell, and Renee Zellweger for Judy. I think it's another lock.
Yeah, she's been winning for Judy the last couple of awards. Not a big surprise. It's going to be one of those cases where the performance is better than the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Judy, it's not a bad movie, but it's kind of
forgettable.
It's kind of average. It's an average, like, quasi-biopic, a look at a
moment,
a moment of a real life person. And that doesn't take away from the stuff it gets into, because I think the areas that Judy explores when it comes to Judy Garland's character is not areas that I don't think Judy Garland fans aren't aware of, or even casual Judy Garland fans I don't think aren't aware of. She was a very complex individual with a lot of personal problems that led to unfortunately an early death for her in her late 40s, I believe, due to pill addiction, alcohol, really downtrodden stuff like that. But Renee Zellweger plays her amazingly well, very, very well. And I know a lot of people weren't happy with Renee doing her own singing, and I guess they wanted to use Judy Garland's, have Judy Garland's voice dubbed over and whatnot. For me, I thought she did a great job in that respect. No one sounds like Judy Garland. Obviously, no one really can emulate that to like a 100%. But I thought she did a good job. But where she really excelled was getting all of the nuances and all of the details when it comes to Judy Garland, and I think that's why she's going to win.
Yeah, I think that for me the problem with this category is I think that there was maybe some people left out of this cat. Like I think Lupita Nyong'o was the one that could have competed that didn't even get nominated.
No, her not getting nominated baffles me, because she was literally playing two roles
Yeah.
that were the opposite of one another in the same film. And to pull that off, and to pull it off as well as she did, is exceptionally difficult. And she should have been nominated, and I don't know why she wasn't. Other than, like, it's interesting that Cynthia Erivo, the Harriet film didn't get much buzz around it. I remember seeing the trailer in theaters several times, and I remember the movie coming out and getting a very small, like, exhibition at theaters and then kind of going away. And it's now, like, I guess people are revisiting it now because Cynthia Erivo keeps getting nominated. And I'm fascinated to see how good she is in the movie because I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I really want to see it, but it was tough to see. It got a small release.
Yeah.
It's going to be one I think we're going to have to revisit on when it comes to streaming or being able to rent on streaming or something like that.
Yeah.
Saoirse Ronan in Little Women I think is fantastic. I mean, if there's the film is more of an ensemble film, and it's more of the story of the sisters and all that kind of stuff. But if there's one story I think you can really latch onto and that really carries the film, I guess for me as a viewer, it's Saoirse Ronan's character in the film.
Yeah.
She's really good. Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story.
She's great.
The movie's great. The acting and the writing is great in that movie. No big surprise there.
But Renee's been winning, so.
Yeah. Charlize was also good in Bombshell. I mean, none of these are bad performances. None of them.
Yeah, can't really say anything bad. It's just, Renee's kind of a lock.
Renee's kind of a lock.
She's kind of been a lock since the movie came out.
That was kind of the big thing, is that people were predicting it when it happened, when it was coming out, and now it seemed to have carried on. Because sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes people predict that stuff, and the buzz just falls apart the longer it goes. Because Judy came out months ago. Yeah, I don't think it came out like during award season. I think it came out.
It's like
beforehand.
October.
Was it October?
It's like it was the end of summer, maybe early fall, something like that. Yeah.
Time is funny.
Yeah, it's flying.
Fine. Well, moving on. Best actor. Might as well go from best actress to best actor, and we've got Adam Driver for Marriage Story. Adam Driver had a hell of a year. Joaquin Phoenix for Joker. Leonardo DiCaprio, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Antonio Banderas, Pain and Glory, and then Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes. Joaquin keeps winning.
It's a lock.
And it's going to be pissing off a lot of people because a lot of people are pissed off that he keeps winning because he keeps going up at award shows and just calling people
doing
out.
These speeches.
Yeah, he went up at the BAFTAs and was like, the BAFTAs have always been nice to me, but there's not a lot of diversity here this year. You may want to step that game up. And then he came out at Golden Globes. It was like basically just crapped on people for being wealthy. Not wealthy, but like just saying like do more or something like that. Or he's an advocate for a lot of things.
Well, I think his relationship with what's her which Mara sister? It's Kate Mara. Rooney Mara. Yeah, he's with Rooney Mara. Seems like his relationship with Rooney Mara has opened him up a little bit.
Oh, I didn't even know they were a thing.
Yeah, they're a thing. Yeah. In that speech at the Golden Globes, he even says, Noomi, and then the camera moves to Noomi. He says, I love you.
Is it? Hold on, I'm gonna look this up because I'll look this up while you talk. But I do want to say that he's an interesting person because he's very.
He's usually
reserved.
Very guarded.
Very
he's
reserved,
not very open
guarded
with his. But since doing this movie and getting the attention he's gotten, he seemed to have opened up more. It's nice. He is a little out there, which is what I like. But I think this is a lock. I do think there's a lot of. Adam Driver's probably my second choice, tied with maybe Antonio Banderas. And DiCaprio's great.
DiCaprio's really good. Once Upon a Time, his performance is pretty great.
He's great. Trying to think, that there was somebody else in my head that I think maybe. What about any of the actors from Parasite?
Yeah, the dad actor people wanted to be nominated,
and that's one thing that typically happens a lot. Even if there's a great foreign film, typically none of the actors get noticed unless there's somebody that's become popular in America, like what's her name from from Inception. What's the
Jessica oh my goodness, why am I blanking? She was in La Vie en Rose.
Yeah.
Marion Cotillard.
Yeah, she's become popular in American movies,
Right.
so she got nominated for a foreign film once.
Well, she won like La Vie en Rose
Yeah.
before she started doing American films.
Yeah, so it's a rare thing when foreign films get an actor nominated. It doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, the actor from Parasite is Kang Ho Song.
Yeah.
I think he's the one who portrayed the father.
I think another example, didn't was it Penelope Cruz? Didn't she get nominated for a foreign performance too? Was it
she was nominated.
Velvet?
She got nominated.
Or
Voltaire?
Voltaire, that's what I'm thinking
the
of.
Pedro Almodovar film. She ended up winning for Vicky Cristina Barcelona, which was the Woody Allen film.
Yeah.
That's what she ended up winning Best Supporting Actress for. That's her only Oscar win. She was nominated for Voltaire, like you said, and she was also nominated for Nine, the movie Nine, the musical, I believe. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, Isabelle Huppert was nominated for a few years ago. She's a foreign actress. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't happen. The male side, it happens more on the female side. Doesn't happen quite on the male side a lot. Yet again, foreign films or, international films as they're calling them, don't get a lot of buzz or big play here unless they really, really hit.
Yeah.
Like Roma. It didn't help that Roma was done by Alfonso Cuarón, who has had, across the board success in both in the foreign film area as well as the Hollywood side. You know what I mean? That does help. He's had that cross ability there. But Bong Joon-ho has also done American film. He did two American films. Like Okja, I believe technically it was a Netflix film, but he did Snowpiercer, like you said. So he's kind of going both ways, but he's not a big name. It's not like he's not a household name like Alfonso Cuarón may have been. But yeah, that's fascinating to me. How that you don't get that crossover. But so Joaquin, you would say, is a lock for this?
It's a lock, man.
Okay, that's going to create so much buzz and so much infighting on Twitter and the internet. Adam Driver, although could win.
I wouldn't be mad.
I'd say he's second up for that. Leo got his Oscar, so he's all set. Doesn't need another one.
He's never gonna win again.
He's never gonna win again. I really like Banderas, and Jonathan Pryce was really good in The Two Popes. I think he was. We'll talk about the obvious one that everyone talked about. Adam Sandler for Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
Could have been nominated.
Except they had to nominate that one of the popes.
I know, it's like it's almost as if they came in tandem. Like you couldn't nominate one without nominating the other. And then I'm like, that's not how this freaking works.
Well, first of all, if they care anything about getting more eyes on the Academy Awards, they should have nominated Adam Sandler.
Yeah, well, it's not the Golden Globes, because the Golden Globes would have done that, but I guess they didn't. So what am I to say? But yeah, because I wonder, Adam Sandler would have had to show up in a suit and not his typical regular clothes.
This creates a conversation of it's been talked about a lot. We've upped the nominations in Best Picture. Why aren't we upping the nominations in
anyplace else?
Anywhere else? I'm always been kind of against the upping of nominations to an extent, because I think the more we open it up, the lesser I feel like the
award becomes.
The less it devalues it. It's like, well, we gotta give everybody some a trophy here. We gotta give everybody.
I mean, just to play devil's advocate to that, I think the Academy Awards has already devolved significantly to the point where, like, adding more categories, I don't think will reduce the prestige of it that much.
I was gonna say,
you know what I mean?
I was gonna kind of agree with that. I was gonna say, but I, on the other side of that, I'm at a point where I don't feel like, the legitimacy of the awards gone away anyway, because half the time things that deserve to be nominated don't get nominated anyway. So it doesn't. True. It really doesn't. Honestly, at this point, these awards don't really mean anything. they're just good
Yeah, I know
ways
what you're
to
saying.
maybe create conversation for certain movies.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
But it is the big award for the film year, and it's fun to cover it, but a lot of times it just ends up being something that creates more arguing amongst film fans. So
Right. Before we get to Best Picture, we need to talk about Best Director
oh, of course.
because we almost skipped over that.
No, I wouldn't have let that happen.
Do you want to read them out?
Sure, yeah. Let me. Here we go. We got Martin Scorsese for Irishman. We have Todd Phillips for Joker. We have Sam Mendes for 1917. We have Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Bong Joon-ho for Parasite. Where are we thinking here?
Before that, I also want to say that Eddie Murphy could have been nominated for Best.
Oh yeah, another
Best
actor that could have been
actor as
nominated.
well.
Sure.
I wanted to bring that up just because I forgot about that movie for a second there. But when it comes to this here, for me, it's got to be Bong Joon-ho for Best Director.
You think?
Like it's got to be. I'm not saying that it's going to 100% win, but it's going. That's the one I want to win. That I think has to be the one to win for me. To be like, okay, maybe these awards people know what they're talking about. I mean, the other nominees. I mean, Scorsese's a legend. He's probably my favorite living director. Tarantino, another great director. Sam Mendes directed the hell out of 1917. Directed the hell out of that movie. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins, because if they're setting up 1917 to be the winner, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up winning Best Director.
Yeah.
Todd Phillips is the one for me. That's sure. Why not? I like Joker a lot, and I think Todd Phillips. This is his best film. Like, no, I don't think there's a doubt in my mind that this is his best film. His best work. It's his most out of the box work for him, and I think it's the film that shows that he can do something other than what he's been doing throughout his entire career. But I think when it comes to ranking all of these, I think I'd put Todd Phillips at the bottom when it comes to just ranking all of this.
Honestly, it would have been. I think that pick, the sexier pick for the fifth slot, to me should have been.
We all know Greta Gerwig.
Greta Gerwig definitely. Other ones too. I mean, honestly, I would have taken Martin Scorsese out too.
Oh,
I would have put somebody like
hot take.
Oh, it's a hot take, motherfuckers. Because you know how I feel about that movie. Because I would have put the Safdie brothers in there. For Uncut Gems over. Dude,
I put the director.
Let's get honest here.
Yeah, I put the director for The Lighthouse.
Oh yeah, Roger Eggers.
Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put him in there too.
Yeah,
I think he directed the hell out of that movie.
There's a few people I would flop out here.
But if we're talking about like specifically what would match up well with the Academy Awards, the way the other nominees lay out, Greta Gerwig is a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, she's really the one that got snubbed out of this category.
I would have taken Todd Phillips out.
Oh, Todd Phillips out, put Greta Gerwig in. Yeah,
even though I would say, even though I like Joker, I think Greta Gerwig did a better job directing Little Women than Todd Phillips did directing Joker, and that's not even like a shot at either movie. I'm just saying, like, I mean, that's just kind of the way I look. If I had to throw that into a discussion-based form.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, yeah, once again, I think it's between Parasite, 1917. I'm with you. I think I'd love to see Bong Joon-ho win. I'm going to say 1917 is going to win. I think Sam Mendes is going to win this.
Okay.
That's what I think. Unfortunately.
Sounds good. So then let's move on to the big award, Best Picture. 1917, Jojo Rabbit, Little Women, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Irishman, Ford v Ferrari, Joker, Marriage Story, and Parasite.
Let's go ahead and say it. I know what you're going to say. Ford versus Ferrari is going to win.
That would be a surprise for me. It's a great movie.
I like it.
It's a great movie. 1917, like we've said this entire podcast episode ad nauseum, the buzz around it, the awards it's just gobbling up, seem to make it the front runner. And I would say Parasite is right there with it, maybe slightly behind. That's just me.
Yeah, I'm with you. But
I want
it's tough,
Parasite.
man.
I want it.
Yeah, I want it to win, man. I mean, the cynical part of me says it is automatically going to say 1917.
Oh yeah, because the Academy, 1917 is such, it checks the boxes, and in the Academy Award, like checklist, period piece, war movie, drama, based on real event, based on a real event being World War I and whatnot. Yeah, 1917.
Also got a cool gimmick in it, you know.
Well, yeah, that too. I guess I don't. Yeah, because it's not. 1917 isn't based on a true story, is it?
Not a particular story, I don't think. No.
No, it's. Yeah, it's.
It was an original.
Yeah, because it was an
screenplay.
original screenplay, so it's
Yeah.
not true. It's not an adaptation of like a memoir or something. I should have put that together since we went over the screenplay category. Completely forgot about what we went over like a half hour ago. So it checks all those boxes. That's why I think it would win. Parasite to me is the sexier pick and the more evolved pick, if you will. It's the pick that I think says a lot more about our current state of existence than something like 1917, which is rather surface level when it comes to a lot of its elements. If I had to give it, to throw some negative criticisms at it, but it's still, I think, it's still a great movie.
Yeah. If there was a dark horse, what do you think is the dark horse here?
Let's see, dark horse.
I'm saying Jojo Rabbit. Yeah.
Jojo Rabbit's a dark horse. That's the one that would set the internet aflame. No, Joker would set the internet aflame.
That would.
Jojo Rabbit would create like hurricane type waves. Joker would be like the internet's like burning to the ground.
Yeah.
I would love just something out of left field. Like
I would love it.
Women
I would love it
out
if
of left
Little
field.
Women just suddenly won. Finally,
Yeah, just straight up.
Yeah.
I mean, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is not a bad pick because the Academy loves movies about Hollywood, but it's not a movie about Hollywood filmmaking or anything like that. It's set in Hollywood in 1969. That's its
it's
direct
definitely
connection.
a love letter, but it's.
It's got Hollywood stuff in it. Like it's
Yeah.
got like actors and places and stuff, and they're literally like on the set of a television series that's being made and stuff like that. There's a lot of homages to what was going on at the time, but it's not a movie about movie making specifically.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, the area that they really love.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, man. I mean, it's this coming Sunday. We'll probably talk about our reactions on the next episode. But the next episode, I think we're going to talk about the coming year.
Yes, the preview episode.
The preview episode for the coming year. So I'm excited about that episode. And then finally, I think after that, we'll do our first spotlight. We haven't done a spotlight in a while.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't think we did not do one in January.
No, yeah, we had a lot of these special episodes.
Catching up. Yeah,
these special episodes, for the year, and so yeah. I hope everybody enjoys the Academy Awards. I mean, I might not really watch it. If I have a chance, I might watch some of it, but I'll definitely kind of keep up with it online. But let's cross our fingers for Parasite to win. I think that's I think our biggest thing is we want to see Parasite win as many awards as possible.
I'm right there with you. I unlike Steven, will be watching on Sunday night.
Well, I mean, I don't even know if I have the channel that I can watch it on.
Oh, that's true.
Because I use an app. I don't have like basic cable.
It's on ABC.
Yeah.
You should be able to stream it directly from the abc.com app or something like that.
Well, maybe I can do it that way.
Yeah, because there's no way it wouldn't be streaming on abc.com for everyone. That's another thing. Like, you got to make this show more accessible, and you got to make the movies more accessible, so you don't get a bunch of people scratching their heads while watching the show, or people just being like, "Oh, I'm not going to watch the show. I didn't watch any of those movies. I don't care." Yeah. You gotta make this stuff, more accessible to the people, and not cry every time your award show dumps in the ratings every single year. Also, we didn't talk about it, but they're going with no host again.
Yeah.
So that's going to be another interesting thing.
I think this will be a better look at it, because last year it was like they had to settle for that because they didn't have anybody.
Yeah, this year they were just like, I guess we'll do it again.
Now they just chose. So now that they've had more time to prep with no host, let's see how it goes. I mean, it might end up working good again,
Hopefully. Or it could just be
make for a boring show. So.
Or I mean, it could just go like off the rails and be like great entertainment.
Yeah, well, I'm down for it.
All right.
I would have liked somebody like Jim Carrey to host. That'd be interesting.
That would have been amazing.
Or Eddie Murphy, since he's not going to get nominated for anything.
That would have been very interesting, because he would have just been, his opening monologue would have been very snipish about the not getting nominated. But Steven, take us out of here before we go down another road that we can come back from.
That's what we do on the Cinema Discovery Project. That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening. Where can we find you, Andrew?
You can find me on Twitter at Capzilla06, as well as my YouTube channel, Capzilla Productions.
And you can find me on Facebook, Stephen Billings. You can find me on Instagram at Cinema Discovery Project, posting all my goodies. You can find the audio for this podcast on Podbean or Apple Podcasts. And once again, thank you for listening. Please run over to the Apple Podcasts. If you're listening through audio, give us a like. Let us know what you think about the show. We're always trying to improve. We're going to try to spend a lot more time this year on doing some more deep divey stuff. Not so many mainstream thingies. I want to try to focus a little bit more on some more obscure stuff this year, which is kind of was the goal for this podcast. So, but just we want to know what you guys think. Give us some ratings. Give us some comments. I want to hear from you. Thanks again for listening, and hey, keep on watching them movies.
I know I will.